Hi, my name is Brittany Gillespie, and today I'm going to be presenting Aspergers syndrome, or AS. First, in order to discuss Aspergers syndrome, you need to understand the characteristics, and there are several characteristics that a teacher could be looking for. So first, a child with Aspergers will be very into their routine. They may wake up, eat breakfast, and brush their teeth every day. They will do this routine at the same time. If the routine is interrupted, the child may become aggressive. A child with AS may also focus on one particular interest, otherwise known as repetition. For example, a child may be very into sharks. Everything they do will be focused around sharks. The books they read will be focused around sharks. The toys they play with will be focused around sharks. Children with AS also show a lack of group interaction. They would rather play alone than play with other children. Lastly, they enjoy reading. They enjoy reading because this is a solitary activity and they do not have to interact with others. This chart shows where our children with Asperger's fit in the classroom setting. If you look at this large portion here, it shows you that 45% of our students with Asperger's syndrome are placed in the general education setting. As educators, that means that we need to be able to differentiate our lessons in order to accommodate them every day. Our children with Asperger's, although they are placed in the general education setting, 18% of them will have an aide or a para part-time, and 18% of them will have an aide or a para full-time. A para is there to assist them with anything they may need and also to help keep them on task. When differentiating lessons for a child with Asperger's or AS, it is very important that you use the child's interest. Here we have an original math problem. The question is, how likely is it that the spinner will land on a blue space? As you can see, there is no blue space. But our child with Asperger's is not going to respond to this question because there's nothing appealing to him in it. Instead, what the teacher can do is rewrite that question. How likely is that spinner to land on a shark space? Remember, our child is very interested in sharks. As you can see, our spinner has no shark on it. So the answer would be impossible, which would have been the same answer as the first question. For reading comprehension, I'm going to read you a short excerpt from an original story. Grandma, what kind of cookies will we make today? Amanda asked. Monster cookies, Grandma said. She sounded scared. What are monster cookies? Amanda was almost too scared to ask. Now remember, our child is not going to respond to monsters. Monsters are not what he is interested in. So what I have done is differentiated this question. As you can see, the blue highlighted portions represent areas that I have changed. Instead of monster cookies, we're going to create shark cookies. Now the teacher has the attention of this child, and he can successfully go on with the task. When we differentiate, we also need to put in place some techniques that can help our child with Asperger's syndrome or AS in the general education setting. The first technique that I have come up with to help our children in the general education setting is a behavior chart. Now, there are various ways that this behavior chart can be used. It can either be placed on the child's desk, or it may be sent home with him every day. And the child will know that this represents how he behaved for the day. If he did something very well, it may be reinforced with something he enjoys. Okay, there we go, positive and negative reinforcement. If your child has performed beautifully all day, they have stayed on task, they have not become aggressive, it is important that we reinforce that behavior. If a child loves sharks, there is no better way to reinforce his behavior by allowing him to read an amazing shark book during guided reading time. Another technique for a child in the general education setting would be for him to be placed in many cooperative learning groups. let's recall that one of the symptoms of a child with AS is that he does not prefer to interact with other children. By placing him in a cooperative learning setting, he is working on his social skills. When placing the child in a cooperative learning setting, it is extremely important that the teacher choose students who she knows will be mature and understanding of this child. Lastly, role play can be a very effective technique for children with AS in the general education setting. Teachers should teach social skills through scenarios and role play. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.